Hi there, it's Sue at Miller's Laboratory and thank you for joining me today. I'm going to be flipping through my latest Graphics Fairy design team project. Now, as a member of the design team, I did receive a free year's membership to their premium site, and on that premium site there are a gazillion beautiful images that you can use. And one of the nicest things about it is that it has a search engine. So if you're working on a project and you want a yellow rose or something really specific like a turtle or something, you can just put that in the search engine and it will give you all of the images that it has that fit that. So it's just so handy and so useful. I'm thrilled to be able to work with them. So this project I have entitled Sweet Summer, and I was inspired by some of the beautiful bundles that they have, and I used quite a few printables, and I'm going to show you those before I get started with the book. So this one is a journal page from the bundle called A Trip to the Orchard, and I love how it has sort of this 40s or 50s sort of looking cherry border on it. It's so pretty. This is from Berries and Cherries, and I used a lot of things from this bundle. These are little trading cards, but I just used them as images in my book. This is called Fruit Mini Postcards from the bundle Botanical Fruit. Also some really pretty collage style sort of images. This is from a bundle called Farmer's Market, and they have this with the words strawberry jam on it or without. I chose to use without, but I just thought these were so pretty, and they have labels with other fruits as well. This is from a bundle called Junk Journaling, which this is like a classic with all of these labels. I use these all the time. And then these last two here are from a bundle called Kitchen Ephemera, and these are just ready to use pockets. So those are awesome too. So I will list all of the bundles that I used below, but let's get started with the book. Now, first of all, I have got this gorgeous vintage millinery bundle of cherries. I bought this on eBay. I couldn't resist. These are celluloid cherries from Germany, and they are from 1952. I kept the label on them because I thought the label was cool too. So, and I just pinned that onto the bow here with a bulb pin. All right, we'll set that aside. And then I've tied the book closed with this length of vintage eyelet here, and it just wraps around and ties. And then I used a piece of a quilt to make the cover, and I just added other pieces of fabric to it and then slow stitched it all down. So I have this cherry image from an old tablecloth, something that I used and used and used, and it has a lot of holes in it. Some old yo-yos on here and just bits from different quilts. On the back there's another piece from that tablecloth with the strawberries, and then you can see other bits of the quilt. So I had a lot of fun with this, and it started out as being a fruit theme like cherries, strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, because those are the things that are around me and speak to me and remind me of my childhood. But it also evolved a little bit into a 40s, 50s kind of theme with a lot of kitchen recipe. I used old recipe books in here and all kinds of fun things. So the cover is just a soft cover. It's just the quilt, and that's all it is. I didn't put anything in to stiffen it. On the first page you see this page from an old gardening book, and you're going to see lots of images of fruit that I've put in to embellish the pages. And that was a lot of crazy fussy cutting, but luckily I really like fussy cutting, and so those were actually really fun for me to do. On this page I created a collage from some different images from the Cherry Blossoms bundle and some images of bees, because obviously we need the bees to pollinate the blossoms to make the fruit. So, and then this lovely image of a girl sitting in an orchard with blossoms around her too. Another book, or another page from that old gardening book, and this is an old piece of wrapping paper with the blueberries on it. On this side I've just created a little tuck spot and a little tag or a journal card to write on. And this is from an old scrapbook from the 40s or 50s that I have. I thought that was so cute that it had the little cherries on it. It's a name card from a party or something. On this side I've created a little side tuck, and I added the blossom at the bottom to kind of hold it in there. I've got some more vintage paper here from that scrapbook, and then another piece from that gardening book that I used to make this interesting looking tag with the little bits of vintage fabric. I have quite a few vintage aprons, and I love the fabric on those, so I used that quite a bit throughout the book. Here's another collage page that I did. An old journal or ledger page here. This I printed on rice paper, which is really cool because the texture feels like fabric. Here's some old cookbook pages from the 40s, how to make jelly. And then on this page, this is just some random paper that I had, but I created this little tuck spot with this beautiful card. These little tucks are called berry tickets or berry chits, and berry pickers that were picking professionally would use these to keep track of what they picked each day so they could get paid. And I just wanted to show you on the back of this card, this index card, I actually dyed with blueberries. I played around one day with dyeing with fruit, so I did some with blueberry, some with raspberry, which came out really bright pink, and then some with black cherries, and those are just very light but very pretty. Here I have this interesting vellum picture. I have this postcard, but I printed it out, and it's a group of people raspberry picking. There's just a little pull-out page, and these pretty jars that I got from the Summer's Bounty bundle, and just did a little watercoloring sort of effect on my computer before I printed them out and cut them. A little tuck spot with a pretty card, and that's the raspberry dyed card there, that pretty pink. There's a little open up page with a pocket, a little journal card where I used an old scrap from a calendar, and here is a pocket, and this journal card or tag I did some stamping on. That was kind of fun. Get the old stamps and ink out once in a while. Beautiful handwriting here on this original page. And some rickrack here to decorate. Here's another one of those tuck spots. And then these are some tags. And I didn't show you that printable, but there's a whole page of these tags that are so cute. I just backed them and cut them out and put some string through the holes. Here I've created a page with a hole in it with a frame, so that if it's flipped this way, the girl's in the frame, and this way the cherries are in the frame. And I just tucked another one of those tags behind her photo there. This is like a page hanger, or so it's kind of like a belly band, but it's up high, and then this hangs over the top. Just some vintage papers that I folded and then added that beautiful image of the blossoms. Here's the other half of our berry pickers. And isn't that a pretty raspberry image? Or blackberry, I'm not sure which, but they're beautiful. And blueberries here too. I still like to go and pick blueberries. They're the easiest to pick. You don't have to bend over. There's no thorns or pickers on them. There's a pretty pop-up. And on my pop-ups in here, I just put gold photo corners because these are such pretty images. They're beautiful paintings, so they deserved a little bit of fancy corner. Another collage page here and something from that scrapbook that I added in. Another tuck spot here and some beautiful cherries. Yeah. This page I created, and I was going to make another tag to put in it. And I was going through my things and I found, what do you call it? An Ideals magazine from 1961. And it had this page with a poem about strawberry jam. So I just folded that up and put it in there because it seemed perfect. Collage. Kind of more of the same here. And then these are 2 cookbooks, the vintage cookbooks that I used in here with the old cellophane tape on them and everything. And I love the mom and daughter with their little matching aprons here. Another vellum page here. And this beautiful image of a fruit advertisement. You'll see the other half later. And this orchard image with the black cherries here, so pretty. Here's a little bit of simple collage again that I did. This was from Birds on Branches, and I just added the little cherries in there to make it a cherry tree. Another little tag here with some vintage paper page behind. And this is another one of those page hangers. Go ahead and take that one out too. Just cute. Another pop-up here. And I just love the simplicity of this page with the pretty strawberries and the little scrap from some kind of a program that was in that scrapbook. Here's that journal page that I showed you at the beginning. And I used scrapbook paper in here too. Now here I printed an image of wood and I cut it into I cut it into strips and wove it to make the look of a berry basket and used that as a page. It's another cookbook, What Makes Jelly Gel. I just used the one page. There's some jelly roll there. Scrap of old wallpaper here. Another one of these little tuck spots. Yeah, just a lot of pretty things. Now here I made this little fold out, and I actually used vintage cellophane tape out of that scrapbook. I was going to use washi tape, and I just thought I wanted to use something a little more original. One more pop-up, raspberries here. Basket of raspberries. Beautiful things. And America the Beautiful. That reminds me of summer too. This is a little collage. I used a tree image and then I put the little red dots on it to make it cherries. Little flowers there to mimic the flowers here on the trees. Another quick little card here, just collaged and a couple of bees stamped on there. This one I put little bits of adding machine tape in there to write on because I made the backing black. Because the base of it is a piano roll, and so I wanted the black to show through the holes. And there's the other half of that pretty advertisement. And then I love this little picture of this little boy on the ladder, and below it says, Maynard, in our backyard where we were picking cherries. All right, and then there's the back. And very handy little recipe that they taped on there, how to make thinner pie crusts. So I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to sell this book, but you can take a look in my shop and see if it's there. I may just keep it because it's kind of sentimental to me. So thanks for joining me today. Thank you, Graphics Fairy, for all the wonderful images, and I hope all of you have a wonderful day. Bye.